Hey, we're going to do something a little bit different today. I want to introduce you to my girlfriend, Tema. And Tema is also an author. She has been writing a book, and we are taking two different approaches to publication. And so I thought today we would just talk a little bit about what our process is, what got us, how we got started, and just some things that we thought might be of interest to you. And if you have an interest in this type of content, I would love for you to leave a comment below, and then I will create more. So why don't we start by Tema, introduce yourself. They know who I am.
So I'm Tema Banner. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I write historical romance in a biblical setting. So a little bit different from biblical fiction, which takes a biblical character. I don't have a specific character. I just have a biblical setting. And I've been working on it for quite a while. And so I'm really appreciate Heidi having me join her today.
So one of the fun things about being a writer is getting to meet someone else who has a like-minded spirit, and Tema truly has that. So we met through ACFW, which is the American Christian Fiction Writers Association, and we met in Greer, South Carolina, where we were attending a group, and then we were privileged to be part of a new group in Charlotte, North Carolina. So if you are anywhere in this general area, we would love to have you come and meet us. Just send me a note, put in comments below, and I will absolutely reach out to you and let you know when our meetings are. And you can also find us on Facebook at ACFW Charlotte. But one of the things is Tema and I connected more than just because we are writers, but because we both have a legacy of faith, and it is our intention to share Christ in and through our words. So, Tema, do you even remember how we met?
I do. So it was at the South Carolina ACFW meeting, and the president actually introduced us. She sent us an email and introduced us and said, "Hey, I think you guys live close to each other. You can probably ride down together."
Carpool!
Yes, carpool. And so that is really where it started. But before that, Heidi was really an answer to a specific prayer that I had. I had gone to the Blue Ridge Mountains Christian Writers Conference that's held every year at Ridgecrest. And my specific prayer there had been, Lord, send me someone that I can really connect with, a writer that I can really connect with. And it didn't happen right then, but the very following month was when Heidi and I connected. And it has just been a blessing ever since. We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of faith building as well as word building, I would say. So it's been wonderful friendship.
So Tema is my driving Miss Daisy, and I would be the Daisy. And she takes me to a lot of functions that we do together, and it's such a blessing. But the best part is that we get to sit in the car together and chat, and we can bounce ideas off of each other like nobody's business. So she'll be saying such and such, and I'm like, "Oh, well, what about this?" And then she's like, "Oh, what about this?" And we really, it has been more than just a friendship. We are also that sounding board, and that is so important as an author, is to find someone who has that same like-mindedness of writing with a purpose and a mission. Rather than just the exact genre that you write. Because even if she wrote contemporary, where I write historical, it wouldn't matter. We just have a great connection in that way. But the other thing is, Tema is a prayer warrior. I witnessed this the most amazing way the first time that we went to the Blue Ridge Mountain Christian Writers Conference together. And she would just stop people in the hall and say, "Can I pray for you?" Every person said yes. And it just amazed me that people not only desire prayer, but Tema has no issue of offering that as a service that she is able to give. And she has done that for me, and we've done that for each other.
You know, it's a legacy I got from my mother. I grew up watching my mother immediately pray with someone when they had a need. And it makes a difference to yourself, and it makes a difference to the person you're praying for when they actually hear you praying for them. And I don't know, it's just part of what I grew up doing, and it's a real honor to do it for other people, and to let them know I really care, and that God loves them and sees them no matter what they're going through or where they are, that He is there for them and with them.
That is so true. One of the things that we have prayed about is Tema and I are approaching our publication a little bit differently. So as you know, I am an independently published author, an indie author, which means I do all of my own work, including uploading my book to the sites where my book is sold. So my regular ebook and paperback books are for sale on Amazon. But then I also have audiobooks, and those I've gone wide. And you can find those anywhere that most audiobooks are sold, including my store, and I'll put a link to that, which is the cheapest place that you can get those. But another place that you can get them, if you are a library patron, most libraries, Hoopla, Libby, Overlook, I believe it's called, those systems will also have my books there. And you need to know that I still get paid from the library system. It's pennies on the dollar, but it is something. So don't ever feel like you're cheating an author. If we put our books out there on the library system, it's for a reason. It's because we want to reach a different audience that may be willing to pick up our book, whether it's because of the narrator we chose or just the title or the cover, whatever it is, but then they actually get to hear God's word, and they may not have done it if they would have had to have paid for it. It's if you are a part of the Amazon system, what's that called? Audible.com. If you are a subscriber to that, you can get those books without a cost. So there are many ways to get a book. So for me, I am responsible for securing my own editors, my own cover artists. I do my own marketing, all the things. I am not only the author, I am the chief CEO and bottle washer. I do it all. Well, Tema has taken a different approach, and rightfully so. Tema's been working on this book for years, and if you don't already know my story of how I got started, I started in 2020 and wrote my first book out of obedience, and I'll share that story someday and link it here. But for Tema, she's been working on this book for years. And tell where you started, how you got started, and what got you to the place where you are right now, where you've submitted this book for publication.
Yeah. So, people start out, I think, on the writing journey from so many different directions. Mm-hmm. Like you said, you started out you never really thought about being an author or writing, whereas I have, from my youth, wanted to write. That's always been part of who I am, is a writer. And when I first started writing, there was no such thing as indie. So, number one, that's where I started. It was seeking traditional publication. I have stayed on that track, partly because in today's world, even though, like Heidi said, she's the chief cook, bottle washer, and everything when you go indie. When you are seeking traditional publication, it varies a little bit because you do expect that the publisher is going to help with some of that. They don't do all your marketing, but they are going to edit your story. They are going to be in charge of your book cover. There are a lot of things that they're going to do. And there are a lot of things that they will put in motion for you to do. Mm-hmm. Like going out on book signings. They probably have specific ones where they're going to set it up for you to go, and things that you will do. For me, I did this year think, is this still how I want to go, or do I want to jump over to indie? And so that was this year when we went to Blue Ridge. That was one of my questions. That was one of the things I was seeking to get an answer for. And the answer for me was to continue on the traditional route. There is not a one thing for everybody. I think God reaches people in different ways through the different venues, and He has different things that He wants different people to experience. And so that, I think, is more the trajectory of how you go. So for me, staying on the traditional path is the right choice. And it may take a little longer. It requires me to be patient. Mm-hmm. It's taken a long time for me to put this book into place, but currently I have it with an agent that is reading it, so I prayerfully hope that she will want to proceed with that, and will seek traditional publishing for me. So that's
Okay,
where
you
I'm coming from.
mentioned that something that's so key, and that is that you do give ownership to the traditional publishing house, but there are some expectations that they
Yes.
have. What are some of those expectations?
That they have of me.
Yes.
So they will expect me, they may change the title of my book.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I have a title that I've picked out that I would say is the best title. They can certainly not find anything better, but they may,
Yes.
and I have to be willing to accept
Yes.
that they know more than I do. They have been in this business and remain in this business for a reason, and so I will have to maybe give up the title, which I think is a big ask for most authors. We hold tightly to that, but that is one thing they will do. They may read it and see things that they want me to change. Again, I have to be willing to lean into their knowledge and their wisdom on how it needs to be presented. As long as the faith channel, the faith information that it's in my book is solid and stays the same and true to God's word, that is what is most important to me.
Yes.
That's what I want readers to get from it. I want them to enjoy the story, but I want them to see how much God loves them. So as long as that's not changed, I can't be too stubborn on everything else. But I think that most of the publishers will listen to you, and that's the important thing in having an agent. So an agent will work on your behalf. You don't always have to have an agent. If you go to a conference and you talk to an editor and they say, oh, I love it, you can come directly to me, that's great, and you can do that. An agent works on your behalf. I feel like that's important for me at this point. So, because they will fight for you. They may go and say, hey, this title really is good, and here's why. So they're to work on your behalf.
So what about growing your platform? Explain a little bit what the platform is and why it's important to an agent.
Yeah, so a platform is important to everyone. It's important if you're indie, it's important if you're traditionally published. And most of the time when I say platform, people look at me like deer in the headlights, what are you talking about? And that's pretty much how I felt the first time I heard it too. So your platform is any way that you are using to reach out to your readers and to let them know who you are and what you are writing. And that can be social media, that can all the forms of social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, X, Twitter. It's all of those. But the most important thing for all of writers is their newsletters, because we don't have any control over social media. It could be gone tomorrow. They could start charging us, to have it.
They can close our accounts without.
They can close our accounts. You can lose your account. You can get scammed, and then you've lost all of it. And I know people that's happened to. I've heard of people that have gone through that. And for someone who's an author, that's extremely detrimental to what we're trying to do, because then you don't have your readers are disconnected from you. So that's why authors try so hard to grow their newsletter base, because once you have people who send you their email and they want to get your newsletter, then you're connected with them and they're connected with you, and it really doesn't matter what happens to social media. So agents and editors in the traditional world will look very strongly at how many newsletter subscribers you have and how strong you are on social media. So as much as we don't like it, most writers would like to not deal with marketing and platform at all. Most of us would like to just sit in our little world and write our stories.
I just want to write.
I just want to write. I'm very much that person. The platform, the social media, it's a struggle for me personally, but I understand the value of it and I understand where it needs to be. So it's important to learn and get out of your comfort zone and do those things.
Right, exactly. Yes. So I'm going to let Tina in a second share about what her book is about, so that you can get a feel for what she's writing, because it's a really great story. I have had the privilege to read sections of it as her critique partner, as she has done for me for my books, and so I'll let her share that. But I want you to know the importance of when you sign up for the free book that an author will give you, or a devotional, or whatever it is that an author will offer you. When you sign up for their newsletter, that is not just an enticement. It truly is a gift. They are giving you the opportunity to read their work for free so that you can see, does this author, number one, align with my reading values and my Christian walk, and does the writing style, is it something that I like, that I want to invest in what they're doing? So Tema has something for free as well when you sign up for hers, but there is a really important component that I want to ask you to do. Always open, even if you don't have time to read it, because it really helps an author. That tiny act of kindness of opening an email, even if you don't read the whole thing, helps that author's open rate. I couldn't get that word out of my brain. And it's very important. But if you learn that this author is not for you, and I've done it. I have signed up for an author and then realized this author uses language which is just, that is not something I agree with. It is perfectly okay, and I know this goes against your grain, but it's perfectly okay to unsubscribe. We do it all the time from all the junk that we get in our emails. We hit unsubscribe all the time. This is no different. You're actually doing your author a favor when you unsubscribe from them if you are not opening their email. And so tell people how they can subscribe to you, and tell them a little bit about what they get when they do subscribe to you, and then tell us about your book.
TemaBannerAuthor.com. And then you'll be able to get my Stroll with God. It is a 30-day scriptural meditation devotion, and you'll get that free. And as about my book, so it is called The Weaver's Dream, and it is Tirzah. She is a betrayed Israeli weaver, and when her brother-in-law sells her up to the Nile River, down the Nile River, she will fight with everything she has to get back to her son. And so that is the story. It is a romance, so there is a hero, there is a villain, and you can learn more about it from getting my newsletter.
Now, you've entered this into contests.
I have entered it into various contests. It has finaled in the First Impressions.
Big deal.
That is with ACFW. That is one of their contests. And it's also, I got third place at the Blue Ridge Foundation's contest. And second
That
place.
is, the foundations is for unpublished authors.
Correct.
So she submitted it, yes.
Yes. And then it won, that was second place. And it won third place with the Maggies, which is it's a secular contest, but it was in their inspirational division. So it has been a true labor of love.
Yes.
But I think as all writers feel like their works are.
So to be able to learn more about Tema's journey, what she's doing, how she is getting there, the time frame, and it's a long time frame. It never happens quickly. It can be a year or two. But she's in this process. And if you would like to know more, because I don't know about you, but I always think it's fun to say, I knew her when. And so if you want to do that, sign up for Tema's newsletter and just click on that link. So for me, the indie author publishing process is a little bit different in that I might write a book. It might take me 6, 9, 12 months to write a book. And then the only thing that I need to do is make sure that my cover is prepared and that my marketing launch is prepared and that I am ready to go, and I can set that date of when I'm going to do that. Tema, on the other hand, is going to have to wait and go with the publisher's time frame. And do they give you any thought process? Do you know the...
Yes, they do. Now, with it just being submitted to the agent, I will give that agent probably 6 to 8 weeks minimum before I will reach back out to her and say, no, I sent this to you. So you have to give them time. It's not, they don't just have mine sitting there waiting. They have multiple people who have sent things to them that they have requested. And then if she accepts, and she wants to represent me, I'll have to sign a contract with her. And then she will seek to get that placed with a publisher. So that time frame could be months. If she finds a publisher that says, yes, we want to publish this story, then their backlog has to come into play. A backlog with a publisher could be anywhere from a year to 2 years. It just depends on the publisher. They are already probably into 2026. So there's no way, even if I had an answer today, there's no way that they would be able to publish it until probably 2026.
Yes.
That's the reality of
Yes.
traditional publishing.
And that is, if I finished a book today, I can upload it to Amazon and hit publish. And within 72 hours, my book will be live. So that's a difference. So you might ask the question, why would you do one over the other? Let me give you some examples. So when I started, as Tema said, I didn't even know if anybody was going to read my work. I did this truly out of obedience. I knew that I needed to share Jesus Christ, and this seemed like a good way to do it, and I felt like a confirmation from the Lord that this was the direction I needed to go. So I went ahead and wrote my book. I got it edited. I had a cover artist create something for me, and I uploaded it. And through the beautiful readers who came behind me, they gave me some suggestions of some areas that I had made some newbie mistakes. That was called my debut novel, and there were some errors. And so actually at one point I did go back and update that book. So if you read one of those first books back in 2020, in November of 2020 when I first published, you may want to get a new copy because it's a little bit better writing these days. The fun thing is that you get to see the progression of my writing to today, and now I'm working on book 6 in that series. And so it is fun to see the progression. But for Tema, she has to give her 100%, her absolute best, the very first time. And she is putting her work out there to, and it will be really harshly critiqued, and rightfully so. That publisher is going to be representing that work, and they want to be able to put themselves behind it. And that's probably the biggest difference. Tema will have a large named business that is behind her, promoting her. They have access to media and other things that I do not have access to, or it is very costly or very difficult for me to get access to. And so trying to promote a book as an indie author can be daunting for someone because you just don't know which direction to go. I also have the freedom as an indie author to change my book price. So every once in a while you might see that my book goes free on Prime, or I have a 99-cent deal, or whatever it might be. It might even be free. And on those days I have the opportunity to choose those dates, promote that time frame, and I can manipulate when my book is going to be on sale. From a traditional standpoint, that is not always the case. The books, first of all, don't go on sale as frequently, I don't believe.
I know sometimes when it's at the pre-order stage,
yes,
that they will give a discount, because I've been involved with some launches for other authors, and I see that if you sign up early to purchase the book, you do a pre-order, then you can get like a 40% off. So,
okay.
But I think once it's published and released, that's going to go away.
Yes.
And it would be back on, full price.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add?
Well, I just thank you for this opportunity.
You're
This
welcome.
has been lovely.
You're
This has been
welcome.
lovely.
Tema and I will continue to chat, and we would love for you to be a part of it. So honestly, it is very helpful for me when you comment below. I am shocked at the number of you who leave comments that just bless my socks off, and I am thankful for that. If you'll just leave a comment, let me know if you enjoyed this type of content, if this is something that you would like to see before, if there are other authors, if you want to delve deeper, any of those kind of things. That always helps me. But more than anything, would you please consider subscribing to this channel? That helps me. And when you ring that bell icon and click on that, then that notifies you when there is new content that is coming through. And if you are an audiobook listener, if you are interested in hearing the amazing Amy Lilly, who narrates my books, she also narrates for Laura France and Lynette Bonner. She's done quite a few, and she did the Boxcar Children's series. It's fabulous. If you have not heard that children's series, you might want to check that out as well. But those are all available for free right here on YouTube, and I would love for you to take a gander at those. The first book is free in both ebook and audiobook formats, but it does require that you sign up for my newsletter to get that for free, and I would love to have you as my friend. Thank you for spending time with us, and I hope you have a great day.